All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutation unto the hopeful elect, the 1/3 of Yasha Allah, upholding the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. Peace and salutation. This is the brother Bakwasha, and I just got a couple of scriptures that came to mind, and really a foreshadowing of things to come, because as the meltdown, of this system, of this wicked empire implodes, according to prophecy, these people are going to lose it, and they're going to lose it hard, because they do not have the protection. They're not in the shadow of the Almighty. They're under the shadow of Egypt, and as Scripture says, that shadow of Egypt will be their shame and confusion. So real quick to the left, I have here Matthew 24 and verse 12. It says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." Okay. And so all of this lawlessness, right? All of these sins, all of these transgressions, right? All of these abominations are abounding. Okay. More defraud, more fraud, more corruption, more wickedness. Okay. This whole system is created off of wickedness, and it's abounding. Okay. And so what does that mean? The love of many is going to wax cold, meaning there won't be all of this quote unquote, pleasantries amongst the people. People are not going to regard one another at all. Okay. It's going to be a dog eat dog world here very soon. Okay. Resources are going to be scarce. Inflation's kicking in, job loss everywhere, automation taking over, cash will no longer be used. And those that were once friends with each other, now when you have certain people that were once, like I said, hanging with each other, now you have half of the population without jobs. So that's going to create what? More division. It's going to create more of turmoil. Okay. Oh, and then one of my favorites. Okay. Going into the summertime, gas is going to go up. Okay. And that means that everything and everyone is going to wax cold. So let's get this word here. Shall wax cold.
Strong's G 5594. Psucho. Psucho.
Yeah, it looks like psycho. Let me come back. Let's grab that again. Wax and cold. There we go. It says to breathe, blow, cool by blowing, to be made or grow cool or cold. Metaphorically, waning love, meaning it's not increasing, it's decreasing. Okay. So as Scripture says, there's a time for love, and then there's a time for hate. And guess what you get when you don't have love? You're veering into the world of hating. Okay. It says, wax and cold. Okay. So let me see if there's anything else here. But yeah, that's the point, because iniquity is abounding. Okay. You got all of these wacky tacky Christians. There won't be any of that in that day. Matter of fact, let's grab it real quick. There won't be all of this love for any and everybody. All of that's going to vanish. Okay. It's going to be every man for himself. All right. This is Matthew 10 and 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I am come not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. That whole family, pseudo family dynamic that Esau has created. Nah, when it's one piece of bread between 5-6 people, and then that one piece of bread is gone, cannibalism is gonna kick in. Isaiah 4:1 is gonna kick in. Okay, The Road, the movie The Road is gonna kick in. Okay, the Book of Eli is gonna kick in. Jacob's Trouble is going to kick in. All of these things are literally at the doorstep. Okay. Least we forget, okay, how quick Esau was able to turn this whole society on its head by a lie. Okay. How much more so when it's the real thing. Okay. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword, okay, we just talked about that. I come not to send peace, but a sword. But this is going to be a physical sword. In Matthew 10, that's just division. Okay, dividing and what? Conquering. That's what Jacob's trouble is going to be. You're not going to have any technology devices. You're not going to have any bearing. You're not going to have any weapons. You're not going to have any food. You're not going to have any shelter. You're not going to have any water. That's going to be a sword of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. The modern day sword is a gun. Okay. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. See, it's going to be an all-out war. Jacob's trouble is not going to be a cakewalk, man. Okay. As scripture says, it's going to be a day like none other. Let's grab that real quick. It says, for this is the day of Jacob's trouble, man. This is Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. And that was the point I was looking to get to. It's not going to be a day like this ever before. Okay? Literally, it's going to be pandemonium. It's going to be all out chaos. Okay? Upheaval. It said sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. It's going to be lawlessness. There's not going to be any abiding by, traffic lights or, hey, you can only go into the store at certain hours. Back in Jeremiah 37, it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Okay. Back in 2nd Ezra 15, verse 16. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Those swords, those weapons, see, those carnal weapons only go so far. But the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. See, the protection that we have, the weapon that we have is this truth, because we know that these things are coming. Okay. That's why the scripture talks about blessed for your eyes, for they see, and your ears, because they hear. Because ain't nobody else hearing this truth aside from the elect, aside from those that understand, that have been given the understanding of this word, man. Okay. Let's read on. Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because it's going to be martial law. Okay. It's going to be concentration camps. You see, when the enemy comes in like a flood, okay, he's going to have all of these machines. He's going to have drones. He's going to have tanks. Literally, it's going to be war in Babylon. And vehicles require gas. What happens when you run out of gas? What happens when all the gas pumps are shut off? You're not going to be able to go anywhere except on foot. Maybe bicycle, right? But during that time, the love of many is going to wax cold, ice cold. Okay. Almost animalistic. Okay. The way in, what do they call it? The animal kingdom. That's exactly what it's going to be here. Okay. People are going to turn right back into animals. Okay. Because it's not going to be any, it's not going to be any law. And these heathens are already animal-like. So now you letting animals out in the world to be what? Animals. Survival of the fittest. Okay. And the way in which you survive or thrive is going to be by wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of these holy scriptures. He said, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Scripture says, so back in Jeremiah 30:7, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, Scripture talks about, the day of the Lord as if a man fleed from a lion and then met a bear. Okay, let's grab that real quick. I believe that's Amos 8 or 5. 5. It's a lot. This is Amos chapter 5, verse 18. It says, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light? Even very dark and no brightness in it. There's not going to be lights on in the street. Can you imagine a pitch black night with no lights, no power? And Jacob's trouble is just the beginning of the day of the Lord's return. Okay. That's the kickoff. Okay. And when all of these things ensue, okay, Men are going to be afraid. Scripture says that the righteous are going to be scarcely saved. And we know that it's coming. We have faith. Lord, will we have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to strengthen us in that day. It's still going to be the day of the Lord. Okay? And it's going to be a day like none other. Last verse. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread. You see, this ain't going to be a shortage. You know, he started talking about, oh, well, there's eggs. Is it going to be an egg shortage? It's going to be a water shortage. No. It will have already been consumed. And people are going to be starving. Those parasites are going to be turning people out, man. It says because of the lack of bread. And for great tribulation. Because that's what's coming to this place. And not only is it coming to this place, we've been given the warning. And for those that take heed, they will be under the shadow of the Almighty. For those that don't, will be destroyed. So, Lord will, that was edifying for the elect. Until next time, shalom.